When you look at the headlines, it feels like it's all about NVIDIA's incredible rise or Intel's big comeback story. But there's another story playing out, one that's a little quieter, but maybe even more important. It's a story all about disciplined strategy and just relentless execution. So, what is really going on? Let's dive in. I mean, that's the multi-trillion-dollar question, isn't it? Because while we're all watching the loudest players in the room, another giant is making some seriously decisive moves. And they're doing it by capitalizing on the weaknesses of their rivals. And believe me, the results are pretty staggering. Get a load of this number, $9.2 billion. That was AMD's record quarterly revenue. That's a 36% jump year over year that just absolutely shattered expectations. Now, that is not the performance of some scrappy little underdog. No way. That is the mark of a dominant force that's just methodically outthinking and outmaneuvering the competition. So, how are they pulling this off? Well, AMD's success isn't just about making great chips. It's about something much smarter. It's about finding and exploiting the core vulnerabilities, the glass jaws, of its much, much larger competitors. Okay, so what's really fascinating here is the feeling on the ground. For years, right, picking Intel for your servers or NVIDIA for AI was the safe choice. Nobody got fired for it. But that's changing. IT managers are waking up and realizing they are paying a massive premium for stuff that's often less efficient, especially when it comes to power consumption. And that frustration, it's cracking open a huge opportunity. This quote right here from Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, it's a total bombshell. It just lays bare NVIDIA's biggest vulnerability. Their whole philosophy of performance at all costs is slamming headfirst into the hard limits of physical reality. Let that sink in for a second. Microsoft, one of the biggest buyers of GPUs on Earth, literally has piles of advanced chips they can't even turn on because they don't have enough electricity. I mean, if your best products are so power hungry that your biggest customers can't even use them, you've got a serious problem. And this is exactly where AMD's strategy comes into play. See, instead of chasing the hype cycle, they've built this incredibly disciplined long-term plan that speaks directly to these real-world customer problems. Let's really break down how they're doing it. So on one side, you've got NVIDIA. They're under this immense pressure from Wall Street to justify this sky-high valuation, which forces them to push their most expensive, highest hype products. But then you have AMD. They're kind of flying under the radar, and that gives them freedom. They can stay laser-focused on what enterprise customers actually need: efficiency, value, and real solutions to complex problems. And this isn't just some random approach. It's a really comprehensive five-pillar strategy. They're aiming for leadership in compute, in the data center, in AI. But look at those last two: open software platforms and custom silicon. We're going to see that these are absolutely critical to their success. This kind of disciplined execution doesn't happen by accident. It is baked right into the company's DNA. Both the CEO, Lisa Su, and the CTO, Mark Papermaster, they share roots at IBM. That background gives them this deep focus on engineering rigor, on solving complex problems for the long haul. They're seen as collaborators, not dictators, and that whole problem-solving mindset leads directly to their biggest weapon against NVIDIA. And here it is. This is AMD's secret weapon. See, NVIDIA's real power comes from CUDA. It's their proprietary software that basically locks customers into their hardware, a walled garden. AMD's counterpunch is ROCm, a powerful open-source alternative. And this isn't just about avoiding getting locked in. It's about giving developers the freedom and flexibility to really optimize their AI workloads on a more cost-effective platform. That is a massive advantage when you're operating at scale. Okay, so this brings us to their absolutely brilliant execution. AMD is basically fighting a war on two fronts. They're using this classic pincer move to attack both Intel and NVIDIA on their home turf at the same time. So, front number one, the war against Intel. They are just carving up the client market. Just look at this incredible jump in desktop market share, a record 28%, and even crazier, over 50% in key retail channels. This is a direct assault on Intel's heartland. And the numbers, wow, the numbers back it up. A 73% jump in client and gaming revenue is just staggering. Customers are actively choosing their premium Ryzen chips. And hey, when the US Army comes out and says your performance and battery life are superior, that is a devastating blow to your competitor. All right, now for the second front of this war, the attack on NVIDIA in the data center. A 22% year-over-year growth here is incredibly strong, and it's being driven by massive demand for both their EPIC server CPUs and their Instinct AI accelerators. So here's the kicker. The biggest players in the world are buying in. All 10 of the top hyperscalers, we're talking the giants like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and 7 of the top 10 AI companies are now AMD customers. And why? Well, they are terrified of being locked into a single expensive supplier. AMD's open ROCm platform is the powerful alternative they've been waiting for. But here's the thing. AMD isn't just winning today. They are investing aggressively to build the foundation for market leadership for the next decade. This right here, this is a $100 billion statement of intent. AMD is basically telling the market and its rivals, we are playing to win the next decade of computing, and they are putting serious money behind that ambition. This is not about just keeping up. This is a clear sign that they intend to lead. And they've got some very clear goals. Their 5-year plan is targeting a majority share in the server market, over 40% in clients, and a mind-blowing 70% in embedded systems. That's the chips in everything from your car to advanced robots. Hitting these kinds of goals puts them on track for a projected 35% compound annual growth rate. I mean, that's not just impressive, that's the kind of hypergrowth that completely redefines an industry. And at the heart of this future plan is something called the Helios rack. The best way to think of it is as a complete open AI building block. This is their strategy in action. And get this, partners, not AMD, will be the ones selling these systems. It's a direct counterweight to NVIDIA's closed, top-down approach, and it doubles down on their commitment to an open, collaborative ecosystem. So as we look to the future, the big question becomes crystal clear. You've got one company grappling with the insane pressure of its own hype, making hardware its customers literally can't even plug in. And then you have another company quietly and methodically executing a brilliant plan built on focus and customer needs. The results so far really do speak for themselves. And it makes you wonder if, in the long run, quiet, relentless execution is the most powerful strategy of all.